Hey, we're with Coach Mike Ray. Mike, this is the fourth year you've put together this coaches, what would you call it, a coaches reunion or
Coaches Luncheon Reunion, yes.
4 years now, and it just keeps getting bigger and better. And talk about the whole purpose behind it and what your thought process was when you put this together.
Well, most of us were members of the old NEC, and of course it's now defunct. What a great conference that was, and during the game, nobody tried any harder to beat the opposition than what we did. But when the game was over, we became friends. We golfed together and shoot the ball together. And a lot of us have retired since. And Gary Cardinal and Jimmy Corona and myself thought it would be a good idea to have a reunion. Our first one was in Effingham 4 years ago. We had, I think, around 40. And in the last 2 years here in Bridgeport, we've had 35 to 40. But I think this one is the biggest one we've had. It's really been a good one. I'm trying to get Jay Scheidler to take it over and let somebody younger and, probably knows more people than what I do. So a lot of my people, I've outlived them.
Yeah,
so.
Well, and nobody's getting younger either. I mean, that's the thing.
We don't get any younger. Yeah. And which I remember you from the Flora game. So it's been a nice time.
There's a lot of basketball knowledge in this room, and the stories that are shared are very not only funny but also inspirational too. And some of that stuff almost brings tears to your eyes.
It does. And I played for Coach Felling, and he told us with his first varsity basketball team, he says, I'm an emotional person. And he says, I think you have to be have emotion to play. And I think you do, because you got to have a passion for the game. You got to have a compassion for your players. And I think that was witnessed here today. I really do.
You're just one of several people who are part of that Ron Felling coaching tree. Talk about that. It's amazing, the coaching tree that has come out of what he has done.
I'll tell you what, of course, my senior year was 67, 68, and I was a senior at Lawrenceville. That was Felling's first varsity basketball team. And I knew from our first meeting that he was going to be destined to be a good coach. Just something different about him. He talked about you got to have emotion. And back then, everybody drank Pepsi. It was the Pepsi generation. Yep. And he had us to come out in Bermuda shorts. That was our warm-up. So we didn't have the long sweatpants. We had the Bermuda shorts. And someone asked him why. And he said, well, this is the Pepsi generation. He said, you got to think young. But Felling, in my estimation, is, and I've been around a lot of coaches. I've been around Patino and Knight. Felling is a combination of the best, and I think that's what makes him the best, because I wish that he would have landed a head college job somewhere, because I'm pretty certain I'd have been on that staff. And I just think Ron could have been successful with whatever he done, because a great motivator and a great knowledge of any subject you want to talk about. You can talk about racing, you can talk about history, you can talk about football. I think Ron could have been a great football coach. At that time, Ron was the basketball coach, and Paul Restivo was the football coach. And I think either one of them could have gone over and coached the other sport. And that's how it was back then. A lot of respect amongst the coaches.
He was at Lawrenceville for 16 years. He won 4 state championships and got third place another time. And it's just phenomenal, because every year he had at least one outstanding shooter. He was so good at coaching how to properly shoot the basketball.
That's exactly right. He'll tell you himself today that shooting is still the most important aspect of basketball. If you can't score, you're not going to win. Now, coach is going to tell you defense, and defense is really important. But I had this conversation with Coach Underwood up at Illinois. Shot selection is so important. If you don't take a high percentage shot, you're probably not going to make it. Not only that, but some people just have that innate ability to tickle the twine, and Ron had that ability to teach the shooters. We had Tommy Johnson on the first team. Tommy, and then from there, a lot of people say Jay Scheidler was Ron's best shooter. I disagree. Jay was a great shooter, but I think his brother Dennis had the purest jump shot, but he didn't have Jay's athleticism that Jay had. But you follow that with the Leasty boys, and then, of course, Davey Brooks that played for me here at Bridgeport before he went to Lawrenceville.
Novzik.
Doug Novzik hit the half-court shot against Salem that kept that winning streak alive. And then Marty Simmons, and people have asked me, I'm on the outside looking in, but who I think is the best player that they ever had. And, of course, Marty and Jay, obviously their record speaks for itself. I think Rick Leasty could beat you more ways and have checkerboard. He can beat you defensively. He'd draw a charge. He'd rebound or he'd score. He just had a way of getting inside of your mind and messing your game up. But Ron went through a period there from 67, 68 through 82, 83. And you're exactly right. The players had to have that ability, but he also had to have the teaching ability to get that out of him. And he just the best teacher of the game, of the shooter. He told us in '67, he said, to play for me, he said, you're going to do two things. You're going to learn how to shoot the basketball, and you're going to play defense. Yeah. That kind of sums the game up, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely does.
Of course.
Well, let's talk about the game today a little bit, because it is a lot different today. You coach both at the high school, grade school, high school, and college level.
All levels.
You were on all of it, and so you saw a lot of players and coached a lot of basketball games. But the game today is a little different. What do you feel like the state of the game is today in basketball?
To be honest with you, I'm really concerned about the state of basketball, especially with the NIL and the people moving. There's no loyalty anymore. Used to be you came in as a freshman, you had to earn your stripes. Unless you were really good, you stayed at that school and developed a rapport and a loyalty. I don't think that loyalty's there anymore. And they come back and they say, well, coaches have done it. Well, yeah, you know what? Teachers drive to grade school when students can't. I mean, you got to earn your stripes, and I'm not certain that you put an 18-year-old kid making a $1 million decision. Should I transfer or stay where I'm at? But they're going to see dollar signs, and I think the society today has lost the insight of things that are really important. That's teamwork, sacrifice, and earning your stripes. Any more today's players, and you and I talked earlier, I think a lot of coaches in this room could come back today and be great coaches. A lot of people say, well, the game's changed. Well, not really. The coaches today don't have the intestinal fortitude, I don't believe, to say this is how it's going to be, my way or the highway. But society's that way too. We've lost the discipline that's made America great. We've lost the discipline that has also made college athletics and high school athletics, because you played. I mean, your coach at that point in time was almost like a god with a small G. And I don't think anymore that. I think everybody's out for themselves and they're trying to whatever I can get, I'm going to, and the heck with everybody else. And that's just the selfishness that has come apart with the disease of me, I think.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you can keep this going. I mean, this is a great event that you do each year, and because again, none of us are getting any younger, and just the amount of information that's shared in this room and the inspiration, it's remarkable.
And the ambassadorship that you do for the high school athletics, I want to compliment you too with Southern Illinois Area Sports. And I knew you from Florida, but we've been talking back and forth on Facebook, and I just want to send my deep appreciation from a lot of coaches and myself because the notoriety, the old NEC is not what it used to be. Right. You're trying to bring some of that recognition back, and I know, go back to the boy that we talked about earlier that got injured really bad, and message went out. I think it went nationwide before the night was over.
Yeah, down at Goreville, Goreville at the Cesar game against Waltonville,
Absolutely. There was prayers coming in from all over the country, and I think the job that you do is much needed.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, all right. Well, we appreciate the visit, Mike, and enjoy yourself today.
My pleasure, and good luck to you guys. I hope to see you next year. I've already tried to turn it over to Jay Shiver, so hopefully he'll accept it.
Okay, thank you. Right. Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it, man.